Hello learners, welcome to the another lecture of week 1. Here in this lecture we will discuss about verb. In the first phase we will review what is verb and we will see how many types of verbs are there. And then we will proceed towards the practical problems associated with verb. So let's see first what is a verb. Verb is nothing but an action word. These are the words that talk about our actions or what we do and perform. Without them, we would not be able to write sentences because there is always at least one verb in a sentence. It is the soul of a sentence. A sentence can be written without a subject and object, but not without verb. For example, I read. In this sentence, you see that there is a subject and verb. A book is read. Here is object and verb. And the third sentence is read. It is optative sentence. Now, you see in these three sentences, what is common? It is verb. It is very simple to identify verb as these are a state of action like eat, drink, bath, wash, run, fight, do, meet, sleep, etc. And these are also a state of beings like be, seem, belong, etc. Now there are various types of verbs. We will just talk about some important ones. The first one is auxiliary verbs. Verbs that show any state of being and helps main verb. These are known as auxiliary verbs. These verbs are of two kinds, which are also known as helping verbs like is, am, are, was, were, do, did, has, have, had, be, etc. For example, he is a good student. It is a state of being. Here is no action in this sentence. He has a car. It is a state of having. There is no action in this sentence. The another important verb is modal verbs. And these are used to talk about certainty, probability, permission, request, offers, etc. These are can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, ought to, need, dare, etc. For example, my brother can solve this question. Now the sentence is showing the probability. We should help the needy. He shall perform well in the meeting. The another type of verb is main verb. These verbs show physical or mental activities like to play, eat, go, sleep, read, walk, etc. These are of two kinds, transitive and intransitive. Transitive verbs implies passing over. The action of this verb passes over to the object. It always has a direct object, so you can identify it easily. Let's see some of the examples to verify it. He is abusing old man. Now the object is old man. So it is transitive verb. He saw a big serpent. Now serpent is the object of the sentence. They are watching movie. So in all these three sentences you see that there is object. Now talking about the intransitive verbs, these are just opposite to the transitive verbs because they don't require the object. As the action of the transitive verbs doesn't pass over to the object because it doesn't have a direct object. For example, Mukesh has arrived. Meena has completed. She speaks very fast. Now the object is not there in all these three sentences. The another form of verb is gerund. And gerunds are words that are formed with verbs, but they act as nouns. They are very easy to spot since every gerund ends in ing form of the main verb. Let's see some of the examples here. Swimming is a perfect exercise. Now the word swimming here is gerund. He delayed telling his story to his friend. The word telling is a gerund here. Now the another category is infinitive. An infinitive usually begins with the word to and is followed by the base form of the verb, means verb first form. It functions as noun like gerund, adjective and adverb. In order to express an opinion, purpose of an object or an action, we use infinitives. For example, I love to read literary books. My brother returned home to help. So the word to read and to help here are infinitives. There are mainly two types of verbs in English, finite and non-finite. Finite verbs change when there is a change in the number of the person. So we use SSPP formula for them. Singular subject requires singular verb and plural subject requires plural verb, and there is no exception to this rule. The subject-verb agreement is also a very important part of verb. Here in this lecture, we will also discuss this part also. So this subject-verb agreement means balance between subject and verb. SSPP, singular subject requires singular verb and plural subject requires plural verb. Now formation of subject and verb, singular and plural, is quite opposite. When you add s or es in verb, it becomes singular verb. For example, go. You apply es and you make it singular. But just opposite to that is subject plus s or es. When you apply, it becomes plural. For example, teacher and teachers. So teachers is plural subject here. Now here we are going to discuss some of the important rules related to verb and its different forms. So rule number 1 is the subject and verb must agree in number. What I have already told you, SS and PP. For example, this man is happy. Now the word man is singular, the noun is singular, and the verb is also singular. So the sentence is correct. Here is a balance in the sentence. Let's see another simple sentence. The students are taking examination. Now students is plural noun and are is plural verb. So the sentence is right. Here is PP. Okay, plural subject, plural verb. Now rule number 2, don't get confused by the words that come between the subject and the verb. They do not affect anything or the agreement. Now in this, and many of the students are unable to find out the actual subject or actual noun, and that's why they are prone to make mistake. Let's see, this man who is standing there is happy. Now in between the noun and the verb, there is a phrase who is standing there. It is not affecting because we are applying the verb is according to the noun, the man. Rule number 3 is either, neither, none, anyone, each, everyone as pronouns, adjectives require regular verbs. For example, either road goes to Delhi. Neither road goes to Delhi. Either of the students was present in the workshop. Every man and every woman was practicing yoga. Rule number 4 is one of, a number of, the number of, a lot of, each of, either of, neither of, most of are followed by plural noun and the verb used is always singular. Let's see some of the sentences here. Either of the road is long. Is this sentence right? Either of is followed by plural noun. Either of the roads is long. One of the boy was absent in the class. the sentence is incorrect because boy should be boys. So say this sentence, one of the boys was absent in the class. Rule number 5, United States, United Emirates, name of the countries, innings, news, poetry, sceneries, series, summons, etc. All these are used with singular verb. And this is one of the most important rule for agreement. Now let's see, mathematics is not an easy subject for some of the students. This is right. Mathematics is plural, seems to be plural, but it is singular. Gymnastics is a dangerous game. Mumps is an ordinary disease. The Arabian Nights is one of the top 10 classics of the world. United States is the richest country. The innings of Indian team was good enough. Now you see in all these sentences, the noun seems to be plural, but the verb used is singular. Rule number 6, some collective nouns seems singular, but they are used with plural verbs such as gentry, cattle, clergy, people, folk, majority, etc. Examples you can see, cattle are gazing in the field. Not cattles. Cattle are gazing in the field. People are running after the thief. Rule number 7, some nouns are used both as singular and plural. If used collectively, singular verb is used. And if used as individuals, plural verbs are used. For example, let's see 2 sentences. Jury have declared their verdict. Jury was divided in its opinion. These are the 2 sentences. One is used in plural sense, jury is used in plural sense, and the another jury is used as collective one. So in the first sentence, jury has declared their verdict. It is incorrect because when they deliver verdict, they unanimously do so. So they represent a group. Okay, so jury has declared its verdict. Remember, for collective, the pronoun is used its. Okay, so jury has declared its verdict is correct sentence here. Now the second sentence, jury was divided in its opinion. Now the sentence is incorrect because jury were divided in their opinion because they are all representing individual judges. Rule number 8, if 2 subjects are joined by connectors like and, they require a plural verb form. For example, you and I are good friends. The boy and the girl are jumping over the table. Rule number 9. When 2 subjects are joined by and refers to the same person or thing, they require a singular verb. For example, slow and steady wins the race. You might have heard somewhere. The wages of sin is death. You might have heard. So slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady is representing one thing here. So the verb is wins, singular verb is used. Bread and butter is necessary for man to live. Bread and butter is representing one thing, that is food. Red beans and rice is my mom's favorite dish. So red beans and rice is one dish representing one. So the verb used is singular here. Rule number 10 is when 2 subjects are joined by as well as, the verb is used according to the first subject. For example, his friend as well as he are liars. So are is plural used according to the first sentence, that is his friends. Rule number 11. Rule number 11 is very important. If one of the words each, every or no comes before the subject, the verb is singular. For example, no smoking or drinking is allowed. Every man and woman is required to check in. So you have to keep this rule in your mind. No smoking or drinking is allowed. Every man and woman is required to check in. Rule number 11 is equally important. Some verbs takes gerund form like worth, finish, avoid, hate, enjoy, can't help, it is no use, feel like, finish, etc. They always require a gerund form. So gerund is used. For example, the very first sentence you see on the screen is, the Bollywood movie is worth watching. Now worth, just after we have used gerund, watching, verb plus ing. Another sentence, I finished shopping and went home. The verb is finish. So just after finish we use gerund. It's right. The another sentence you see, she avoids going outside after 10. Now in this sentence, avoid and going, gerund form, right it is. Jack can't help complaining about the heat. Now in this sentence, can't help and gerund form, right. My mother enjoys cooking fine dinner. Now the verb takes gerund form, that is cooking. It is also right. It is no use doing this right now. It is equally right. I feel like going to school. With feel there is a gerund form, that is going. This is also right. So keep this point in your mind, that if these verbs come in any of the sentence, always gerund form is used. Rule number 12 is equally important. Some phrases like adverse to, look forward to, addicted to, object to, prone to, given to, accustomed to, used to, etc. always take gerund form. And in these sentences, most of the students are confused. So keep this point in your mind and remember these phrases. For example, see on the screen you see 3 sentences. He is adverse to play cards. I am looking forward to meet you. He is addicted to smoke every day. Now in these 3 sentences, use of infinitive is wrong. He is adverse to playing card. I am looking forward to meeting you. He is addicted to smoking every day. Now on the screen there is a list of the verbs which are followed by gerund, verb plus ing forms. So remember them always, that these are the verbs which are followed by gerund. Let's take infinitive now, because we have talked about gerund, so we will also discuss about infinitive in short, and then we will proceed towards the practical exercises associated with all of these. So let's take infinitive. Infinitive is to plus verb base form, and let us discuss some important rules about that. Rule number 1, the structure to plus adjective always takes infinitive, and this is a basic structure you have read already. For example, he is too weak to jump. So this is a structure. He is too weak to jump. Now it is to jump. It is infinitive here. He is too intelligent to solve this question. Rule number 2 about infinitive is the words like enough or any WH word, how, ordinal number, superlative degrees, they always take infinitive. For example, he is intelligent enough to solve this riddle. I don't know how to drive a supercar. Mangal Pandey was the first person to revolt against British imperialism. In the first sentence, just after enough, infinitive is used. In the second sentence, just after how to, infinitive is used. In the third sentence, likewise, the superlative degree takes infinitive forms. So remember, all these words take always infinitive forms. Rule 3, sentence starting with it mostly take infinitives. For example, here are some sentences you can understand. It is easy to say but hard to practice. It is easier to pull than to push. It was easy for him to maintain discipline there. Now here is a long list of the verbs which are followed by infinitive. So remember them and you will never confuse in the uses of gerund and infinitives. But there are some verbs like used to can take both infinitive and gerund. So there is a rule. Remember these two rules. You will find it easy to spot the errors in your examinations. The rule is subject plus be means is, am, are, was, were plus used to plus gerund, because it shows habit going on even today. For example, let us take the sentence, one of my friends is used to study 4 hours together. Now in this sentence you see verb to be is before used to is used. So it will take, gerund form. So I will say the sentence as one of my friends is used to studying 4 hours together. Applying the first rule. Now see the second rule. Subject to plus used to plus infinitive. If it is showing habit in past. For example, one of my friends used to studying 4 hours together. Now this sentence is wrong. Why? Because there is no helping verb used. So say this sentence by using infinitive. One of my friends used to study 4 hours together. Now let's discuss some common sentences we generally make mistakes in. Here are the sentences you can see. Neither does he study nor works. Now here in this sentence there is a balance mistake. Use he after nor. So say this sentence as neither does he study nor does he work. Keep this file on the table. Is this right? The verb keep is wrong here. We always say put this file on the table. Let's take the another sentence. I have ordered for a cold drink. Now in this sentence, the verb order never requires preposition after it. So remove for and say the sentence, I have ordered a cold drink. The another sentence you see, it is troubling me. The verb troubling should be in present. It troubles me is the right sentence. It is the right expression in English. My hand is paining. This expression is also wrong because the verb must be, I have. Because the sentence should be, I have pain in my hand. The another sentence you see, Shilpi gave a speech in the conference. When we talk about speech or lecture, we use made or deliver. So say the sentence, Shilpi made a presentation in the conference or Shilpi delivered a speech in the conference. Both are right. Next is, don't you hear me? Now in this sentence, when we emphasize, we should use listen to. Listen to stands for careful. So don't you listen to me is the right sentence here. Now you see the sentence, she laid the cup on the table. Is it right to say like this? She laid the cup on the table is the correct expression. In the another sentence, you see, he gave vote in the election. Now for vote, we use cast, not gave. We never give vote, we cast vote. So say this sentence as, he cast vote in the election. Now let's take the another sentence. He said to me to go from here. In this sentence, you see the sentence is in indirect speech. So the sentence should have told in place of said to. So the sentence should be, he told me to go from here. Now in the another sentence, you see some people put their money in their back pocket. Now the sentence is wrong because put is wrong verb here. We should say some people keep money in their back pocket. Now let's take the another sentence. Dr. Sharma denied to come in the meeting. Now deny is something different and it doesn't fit into that expression. So in order to convey the right expression, we should say Dr. Sharma refused to come in the meeting. The another sentence, you see, it is very important. He made a goal in the match. Some people say like this, but it is wrong to use made for goal. We should say score. He scored a goal in the match is the right sentence. Now let's take the another sentence. This book comprises of 5 chapters. Many times we used to say like this. We use comprises of. While the verb comprise never takes the preposition after it. So erase the preposition of from here and say the sentence, this book comprises 5 chapters. Now let's take the another sentence. This book consists 10 topics. Now the verb consist always takes preposition after it. So use of after it and say the sentence, the book consists of 10 topics. The another sentence you see, neither Ramesh nor Suresh were present there. Now in the sentence, neither always requires nor. And when it takes nor, it is always followed by singular verb. So now say the sentence, neither Ramesh nor Suresh was present there. The another sentence is on the screen. Either Pooja or Nidhi were absent. Here in this sentence, either or, like neither nor, takes singular verb. So say the sentence, either Pooja or Nidhi was absent. Now let's take the another sentence. Many a soldier have been killed and burnt in World War II. Remember, many it takes singular verb. So replace have and use has. Now say the sentence as, many a soldier has been killed and burnt in World War II. Lime and soda are digestive drink. Now here in this sentence, lime and soda is representing one drink. So use singular verb is in place of are and say the sentence as, lime and soda is digestive drink. Now these are the sentences which have been already asked in various competitive examinations. So these are very much important for you. So let's take the very first one. See on the screen, there are 5 sentences you see. Stop the video and analyze the sentences. Well, let's take the first one. The agitators had been arrested on charge of violence and force last year. Part B is incorrect because the helping verb had is wrong here. The sentence should be in past indefinite possessive because the sentence ends on last year. There are some words like ago, back, past, a few years, last, yesterday, etc. are used always in past indefinite tense. So the correct sentence would be, the agitators were arrested on charge of violence and force last year. Let's take the second one. The rise and fall of the tide are due to lunar influence. Now in the sentence, rise and fall is singular, representing one. So use singular verb is and say the sentence like, the rise and fall of the tide is due to lunar influence. Let's take the another one. Many a man have succumbed to temptation. We know that many a always takes singular verb. So erase have and use has in this sentence. Let's see the another sentence. One of the state in which there was a severe drought last year is Maharashtra. Now in the sentence part A is wrong. One of is always followed by plural noun. So one of the state is wrong, one of the states is right. Let's take the another sentence. It was suggested by the doctor that the patient should be taken care. Now in the sentence, taken care always requires a preposition after it. So the sentence should use taken care of instead of taken care. So say this sentence, it was suggested by the doctor that the patient should be taken care of is the right sentence. Sometimes the sentences are given to confuse the examinee. For example, Pakistan's support to the terrorists of India should be universally condemned by all. Now in the sentence, remove by all as its use is exaggeration. It is extra use. Universally in itself means accepted by all or acknowledged by all. So the sentence should be, Pakistan's support to the terrorists of India should be universally condemned. Sometimes the errors are in the verb itself. So let's take the another sentence. We have to ensure that all members are fulfilling the requirements. Now in this sentence, the verb ensure is wrong. We should say ensure, E-N-S-U-R-E. So replace the verb ensure by ensure. Ensure means to make sure. It is a verb. Let's take the another sentence. The author and the philosopher was absent in the meeting organized by the committee. Now in this sentence, the subject, the author and the philosopher, because the article the is used before both author and philosopher. So they are representing two. So the verb should be in plural. Was is to be replaced by were. And say now the sentence, the author and the philosopher were absent in the meeting organized by the committee. While the young analyst is bothered by the fact that his girlfriend is not very skilled behind the wheel, each of her other redeeming qualities compensate for her driving ability. Now the sentence is wrong, but if you see the balance of the subject with the verb, you will find a difference here. The subject of the second part of the sentence is each of her qualities. Here the subject is singular because of the modifier each of, which is used for singular. Therefore, the corresponding verb should be singular, and that should be compensates. Now let's take the another sentence. I am already sick and tired of your obstinacy and tenacity, so you must go away and not persist to say here. Now in this sentence, part D is wrong. Persist in is a verb that requires gerund and not infinitive. So say, I am already sick and tired of your obstinacy and tenacity, so you must go away and not persist in staying here. Now the another sentence on the screen is, Mohan is going to Delhi for buying some competitive books and will come back within a week. In this sentence, part B is wrong. Here infinitive will be used in place of going. Okay, that is gerund. Because the sentence is showing a purpose, and for purpose we use infinitive. So say this sentence, Mohan is going to Delhi to buy some competitive books. Now let's take the another sentence on the screen, that is, one should never take pride to do such a heinous thing like this gruesome and cold-blooded murder. Now in the sentence, part B is wrong because the verb pride takes preposition in and a gerund after it. Now say the sentence, one should never take pride in doing such a heinous thing like. Now the sentence would have in doing in place of to do. Here is another sentence on the screen. I'm very much fond to do it, and I do it regularly even when I am not well or do not feel like doing it. Part B in this sentence is wrong. Fond to do. Replace fond to do by fond of doing, because the verb fond of requires ing form after it. Now say the sentence, I am very much fond of doing it and I do it regularly even when I am not well or I do not feel like doing it. I do not know to drive a car. I must learn how to drive a car before I buy a car. Now, know to drive is wrong because we are talking about a process. So we use how to. Okay, so we can say this sentence, I don't know how to drive a car. I can also say this sentence like I don't know driving also. Let's take the another sentence that is on the screen. He was not working well, so finally his boss ordered to fire him a week ago. In this sentence, part B is wrong because some verbs like order, allow, advise, forbid, permit, compel, require takes gerund in case there is no object after them. So to fire is wrong here. So it should be replaced by a gerund. He was not working well, so finally his boss ordered firing him a week ago, but I couldn't, is the correct sentence now. Let's take the another sentence. He was in a precarious situation which compelled to leave the city as soon as possible. Here in part B, there is no object after compel. Notice it. So gerund form leaving will be used here. Now the correct sentence would be, he was in a precarious situation which compelled leaving the city as soon as possible. Now you see the another sentence on the screen. You need not to take so much pain because I am competent enough to manage things on my own. Now in the sentence part A, you need not to is wrong because the verbs like need, dare, they don't require preposition to after them. So you should say this sentence, you need not to take so much pain because I am competent enough to manage the things on my own. Now the sentence is right. Let's see the another sentence. I have made all the students to learn how to find grammatical errors in a sentence in no time. Here in this sentence, use of to before learn is wrong in part B because there are some verbs like make, help, see, hear, let, bid that doesn't require infinitive form after them. So erase to before learn and say the sentence. Okay, now let's take the another sentence on the screen. I request you to kindly give me some money for 2 months as soon as possible. In the sentence, part B is wrong. You see, it is a case of split infinitive. It is wrong to use preposition to before adverb. Kindly use it before verb so that it will become an infinitive. Now say this sentence, I request you kindly to give some money for 2 months as soon as possible. So we have covered some major errors related to verb in this lecture. Thanks. Keep learning.